Hey, yeah, so we're on. This is kind of wild because I had a Zoom meeting scheduled for this time, and the person didn't show up. But it's cool, right? Because I'm going through the Bible in a year on the Bible app. I'll do it every now and then. And right now, I'm in Daniel chapter 1, which is interesting because it ties into something I've been kind of sharing for a while in reference to health. You all know the story where Daniel and the Babylonians had basically captured the Israelites or exiled them to Babylon. And so they were taking some of the top people. They wanted to groom some of the Israelites, some of the people from Judah to become a part of the king's court. So they wanted the finest, the most intelligent, those that they felt like could learn and adapt to the culture easily as well as be leaders. So they took Daniel and the other three, which you all know them as um, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. They took the other three. Of course, they gave them different names in Babylon. But one of the things that stood out, and this is something that we do usually the first of the year, we'll hear people doing a Daniel fast. But you all know the story where they offered to give these set aside individuals the best that the king had to offer, the king's table. They were eating from the king's table, all the delicacies, the meats, everything, the best of the best, right? So Daniel spoke up and said, hey, no, why don't you do this? Because we didn't, he didn't want to defile himself with the king's table and the stuff that they were eating. So Daniel suggested they give them the regimen that Daniel was used to eating, right? So Daniel said, hey, just give us vegetables and fruit for 10 days because they had a 3-year assignment. He said, hey, just give us that for 10 days. Come back and check on us and see how we were doing because the people overseeing them were like, no, if we only give you vegetables and fruits for 10 days, then you're not going to come back as well as nourished as the people that are eating from the king's table. But Daniel knew different. So he was like, no, just try it for 10 days. And if we are, if you look and we're nourished and you feel like we are, in good shape, then we'll continue with that regimen for the entire 3 years. So it wasn't like a little, 1 week fast. It was a testing period so that they would know the difference that the fruit and vegetables would make. I'm saying all that to say this. Of course, we know the story when they came back in 10 days, they were wiser. Their continence was better. They were more alert. They were just 100% healthier. And what Daniel was doing was basically eating from Genesis 129. It was that simple for 10 days. And they saw a huge difference. So I'm going to challenge all of you out there. You don't have to wait till the first of the year, but if you can fit in a fruit and vegetable period of 10 days. Some of you have my book, and if you do, there's some instruction on how to go about totally resetting your metabolism. And so I'm going to encourage you to do like Daniel. Don't eat the king's meat for 10 days and see the change that comes over you. So listen, be blessed. That's what I have this morning, and I will talk to you soon.